Yes, you heard that correctly. 6 specific touches, each one straightforward, each one incredibly effective, and every single one grounded in genuine psychological science and the neurological responses you create in a woman's nervous system when you understand the precise way to make contact. And I need to tell you something important right now. One of these touches is so surprising, so overlooked, that virtually no man realizes just how profound its impact really is. Make sure you watch until the very end because that particular touch, it's the game changer. But before we dive into these 6 touches, I want you to think about something for a moment. Have you ever witnessed a situation where a particular woman becomes completely captivated by one specific guy, even though he's not necessarily the best-looking person in the vicinity, doesn't have the most money, and isn't even the most charismatic conversationalist? This phenomenon occurs because our physical responses happen faster than our conscious thoughts. Attraction isn't a logical process, it's fundamentally emotional. And when you make the right kind of physical contact, you stimulate particular regions in the female brain that govern pleasure, security, and emotional bonding. This is precisely why understanding these 6 touches matters so much. You're not trying to trick anyone or use manipulation tactics. What you're actually doing is learning to speak a wordless language, one that her nervous system comprehends on a deeper level than any verbal communication ever could. When you approach these touches with genuine masculine confidence, when you're truly present and listening, when your emotional intentions are transparent and authentic, the results happen naturally and immediately. So let's explore this list together. The first touch, a gentle connection to the side of her face. This particular form of contact triggers 2 critical neurological zones: the somatosensory cortex, which processes touch sensations, and the limbic system, the emotional command center of the human brain. When you delicately make contact with the side of her face, particularly tracing along the contour of her jaw, you're transmitting something incredibly powerful on a subconscious level. You're essentially saying, "You're completely safe in my presence. I genuinely see who you are." The real secret with this touch, it's all about gentleness and intention. This isn't about grabbing or controlling. It's not about pulling her toward you. It's simply about placing your hand there with the care of someone who values the present moment deeply. Just 2 or 3 seconds of this contact creates what I call a micro-emotional experience, a brief but intense feeling she has absolutely no conscious control over. The best moments to use this touch? When she's genuinely laughing at something, when she's looking directly at you with interest, or perhaps when a strand of hair has fallen across her cheek and you gently move it aside. It feels simple, it appears natural, but it becomes absolutely unforgettable. The second touch, the guiding hand on her lower back. If I had to identify one single touch that awakens ancient, instinctual feminine responses, this would be it. The lower back represents an exceptionally sensitive region of the body, directly connected to our sense of physical balance and spatial awareness. When you position your hand there, even for just a brief 3 to 4 seconds, while guiding her through a space or situation, you activate something primal, a deep sense of protection and masculine leadership. But here's where most men go wrong. This touch absolutely must feel organic and unforced. Think about natural scenarios. When you're both crossing a busy street together, when you're entering a restaurant or cafe, when you're walking through a narrow doorway. In these moments, this touch communicates leadership and care without any hint of aggression or control. And here's something fascinating about female psychology. Women are genuinely attracted to men who can lead situations smoothly without being forceful or domineering about it. This touch works because it taps into evolutionary biology. For thousands of years, women have been neurologically wired to respond to men who can provide physical security and confident navigation through the world. When you place your hand on her lower back in the right context, you're speaking directly to that ancient programming. The third touch, the accidental brushing of fingers. Now we're getting into pure neurological science. Human fingers contain one of the highest concentrations of tactile nerve receptors anywhere on the body. When your fingers accidentally brush against hers, even for just a fraction of a second, her brain immediately interprets this as a signal of developing emotional intimacy and connection. And here's the truly fascinating psychological component. The briefer and more fleeting the touch, the more powerful the anticipation it creates. And anticipation, that's one of the most emotionally intense states a woman can experience. It creates a sense of what comes next that keeps her mind focused on you. Execute this touch while you're walking side by side, perhaps when your hands naturally swing close to each other. Or do it when you're handing her an object, a drink, her phone, anything. And let your fingers make momentary contact with hers. It's incredibly subtle. It appears completely elegant and unintentional, but psychologically, it's creating powerful associations in her mind between your presence and pleasant, exciting sensations. And while we're on this topic, if you're finding value in this content, take just 1 second to hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel tremendously and ensures this information reaches more men who need to understand these concepts. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that right now so you don't miss future content. The fourth touch, the slow, intentional touch, through her hair. With this touch, you're accessing some of the deepest emotional memories stored in her brain. Making gentle contact with a woman's hair activates feelings of nurturing, care, and relaxation. Sensations that many women first experienced during childhood when parents or loved ones would stroke their hair to comfort them. But let me be crystal clear about what this touch actually is. This isn't about fixing her hair because it's messy. This isn't about rearranging her appearance. This is about touching slowly and deliberately, perhaps letting your fingers glide through a single strand, or gently sweeping her hair away from her face when it falls forward. This touch communicates something without requiring any words at all. I care about your well-being. I enjoy being physically close to you. I'm paying attention to you. And this is precisely where countless men make critical mistakes. They execute this touch too quickly, with zero emotional intention behind it, or they do it in a way that feels invasive rather than caring. Always keep this principle in mind. Slow, deliberate movement, calm and grounded energy, and crystal clear emotional purpose behind the action. When done correctly, this touch creates an almost meditative quality to the moment. Time seems to slow down slightly. Her nervous system receives the message, "This person makes me feel cared for and valued." That's incredibly powerful. The fifth touch, the reassuring contact on her shoulder. The shoulder represents an emotional anchor point on the human body, not primarily a sensual zone. And that's precisely what makes this touch so remarkably effective in the right circumstances. When a woman is experiencing insecurity, anxiety, stress, or feeling emotionally overwhelmed, a gentle touch placed on her shoulder activates neurological pathways associated with safety and social support. Her brain essentially receives the message, "You're not alone in dealing with this. Someone is here with you." But here's the crucial element that determines whether this touch works or falls flat. Your words and your overall energy must align perfectly. You can't just touch her shoulder while seeming distracted or emotionally disconnected. Instead, make contact with her shoulder and say something genuine and simple. Something like, "Hey, I'm right here with you. This is going to work out." Or simply, "You're okay. We'll handle this together." If those words come from a place of authentic care and sincerity, you establish a type of trust and emotional bond that most other men never achieve. This touch, when combined with genuine emotional support, positions you as someone who provides stability in her life, and that's an incredibly attractive quality. Think about the scenarios where this touch is most appropriate. When she's just shared something difficult or vulnerable with you, when she's clearly stressed about a situation, when she needs reassurance. In those moments, this touch becomes a silent promise of support. The sixth touch, the spontaneous, playful. Touch on her forearm. This final touch is simultaneously the most underestimated on this entire list, and the one that shocks most men when they discover its effectiveness. It's light in pressure, brief in duration, naturally playful in energy, and absolutely perfect for generating physical chemistry without heavy emotional intensity. The playful touch succeeds because it combines multiple psychological elements, humor, physical proximity, and just enough unpredictability to keep things interesting. This combination triggers the release of dopamine in her brain, the exact neurotransmitter responsible for feelings of excitement, reward, and motivation to pursue something further. Deploy this touch when you've just made her laugh at something witty you said. Use it when you're teasing her in a lighthearted way. Let your hand accidentally brush against her arm while you're walking together. This form of contact demonstrates two crucial things simultaneously. First, that you're confident enough in yourself to initiate physical touch without overthinking it. And second, that you're relaxed enough not to come across as desperate or overly eager. And you know what's remarkable? That exact combination of confidence and relaxed energy is precisely the kind of vibe that women find genuinely irresistible. It suggests you're someone who's comfortable in social situations, who doesn't take everything too seriously, and who knows how to create fun, enjoyable moments. The bigger picture, understanding what actually creates attraction. Now that you understand all 6 of these touches in detail, I want to remind you of something absolutely fundamental to male-female dynamics. Female attraction doesn't originate from the clever things you say or the impressive facts you share about yourself. It comes from the emotions and feelings you generate within her. When your physical touch successfully communicates safety, calmness, genuine interest, and authentic presence, her body responds on an instinctual level, often before her conscious mind even registers what's happening. Let me expand on this concept because it's critically important. Throughout human evolution, women have developed incredibly sophisticated systems for evaluating potential partners. These systems operate largely below the level of conscious awareness. Her body is constantly scanning for signals. Does this person make me feel safe? Does their presence calm my nervous system or agitate it? Do they seem genuinely interested in me as a person? Are they present and attentive or distracted and disconnected? When you master these 6 touches, you're learning to send all the right signals on this subconscious, instinctual level. You're communicating in a language that predates spoken words, the language of physical presence, energy, and intention. Common mistakes men make with physical touch. Before we conclude, I want to address some of the most common errors men make when it comes to physical touch, because understanding what not to do is just as important as knowing the right techniques. Mistake number 1, touching without awareness of context. Many men fail to read the situation appropriately. They attempt these touches at completely wrong moments, when she's clearly uncomfortable, when the setting isn't appropriate, or when they haven't built any rapport whatsoever. Context is everything. These touches work powerfully when there's already some foundation of connection and comfort. They don't work as opening moves with a complete stranger in most situations. Mistake number 2, rushing the touch. Remember how I emphasized slow, deliberate movements? Many men do the exact opposite. They touch quickly, nervously, or in a rushed manner that communicates anxiety rather than confidence. Slow down. Be present. Let the touch happen with intention rather than as a nervous reflex. Mistake number 3, touching with unclear or manipulative intentions. Women have incredibly accurate intuition when it comes to sensing a man's true intentions. If you're using these touches as manipulation tactics, trying to trick her into attraction, she'll sense that inauthenticity on some level, and it will backfire completely. These touches only work when they come from a genuine place of interest, care, and authentic connection. Mistake number 4, over-touching or being too aggressive. There's a massive difference between confident, appropriate touch and being overly physical or aggressive. If you're constantly touching her, invading her personal space, or making contact in ways that feel forced or uncomfortable, you'll create the opposite effect of what you want. Less is genuinely more when it comes to these touches. Their power comes partly from their restraint and timing. Mistake number 5, ignoring her responses and boundaries. Always pay attention to how she responds to physical touch. If she leans into it, maintains eye contact, or reciprocates in some way, those are positive signals. If she pulls away, creates distance, or seems uncomfortable, you need to immediately respect that boundary. The men who succeed with women are those who demonstrate clear respect for boundaries and comfort levels. The neuroscience behind why these touches work. Let's dive a bit deeper into the actual brain science, because understanding why these touches work makes you much more effective at implementing them correctly. When you touch someone in the ways I've described, you're activating what neuroscientists call the social engagement system. This is a network of nerves and brain regions that evolved specifically to help humans form bonds, build trust, and create intimate connections. Physical touch releases oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone or trust hormone. Oxytocin reduces stress, promotes feelings of safety, and creates emotional warmth toward the person who triggered its release. This is the same hormone that creates bonding between mothers and infants, and it plays a crucial role in adult romantic attachment as well. Additionally, appropriate, welcome touch activates the brain's reward centers, releasing dopamine and creating pleasurable sensations. Over time, her brain begins to associate your presence with these positive neurological states. This is classical conditioning at work, the same principle that made Pavlov's dogs salivate at the sound of a bell. The particular touches I've described also engage what researchers call the C-tactile system, specialized nerve fibers that respond specifically to gentle, stroking touch. These nerve fibers send signals directly to emotional processing centers in the brain, bypassing some of the analytical, logical pathways. This is why the right touch can create emotional responses that seem to come out of nowhere and that she can't fully explain logically. Developing the right mindset and energy technique alone isn't enough. The mindset and energy you bring to these interactions matters tremendously. First, cultivate genuine presence. When you're with her, actually be with her, mentally and emotionally. Put your phone away. Stop thinking about work or other distractions. Women can sense when you're physically present but mentally elsewhere, and it completely undermines the effectiveness of any touch. Second, develop what I call grounded confidence. This means being comfortable in your own body, moving through the world without excessive anxiety or neediness, and having a calm, settled energy. When your touch comes from this grounded place, it feels completely different than when it comes from nervousness or desperation. Third, practice reading social and emotional cues. Become a student of body language, facial expressions, and verbal tone. The better you become at reading subtle signals, the better you'll know when each type of touch is appropriate and welcome. Fourth, embrace authenticity over technique. Yes, these touches are techniques, but they work best when they express genuine feelings and intentions. If you genuinely care about her, find her interesting, and want to connect with her, let those authentic feelings guide your actions rather than just mechanically following instructions. Practical scenarios. When to use each touch. Let me give you some specific practical scenarios for implementing each of these touches so you can visualize exactly how this works in real situations. The face touch. Imagine you're on a date, sitting across from each other at a coffee shop or quiet restaurant. She's just told you something personal and meaningful, and she's looking at you to see how you respond. In that moment of vulnerability and connection, you can reach across gently and touch the side of her face briefly while saying something acknowledging and supportive. The combination of the touch and your words creates a powerful moment of intimacy. The lower back touch. Picture this: you're meeting her at a restaurant. As you arrive together at the entrance, you place your hand gently on her lower back while opening the door and guiding her inside. Or you're walking through a crowded area, and you use this touch to gently guide her around obstacles or through the crowd. It's protective without being possessive, confident without being controlling. The finger brush. You're walking together through a park or along a street. Your hands are swinging naturally at your sides. Let your hand brush against hers accidentally a few times. Notice how she responds. If she seems receptive, you might eventually let the contact linger slightly longer, perhaps even progressing to holding hands if the moment feels right. The hair touch. She's sitting beside you, maybe on a couch or park bench. A strand of hair falls across her face while she's talking. Instead of pointing it out verbally, you slowly and gently brush it behind her ear while maintaining eye contact and continuing to listen to what she's saying. The gesture is caring, intimate, and shows you're paying attention to her. The shoulder touch. She's just told you about something stressful happening in her life, maybe work difficulties, family issues, or personal challenges. She seems genuinely worried or anxious. You reach over, place your hand gently on her shoulder, and say sincerely, "Hey, you're going to get through this. I believe in you." The physical touch combined with verbal reassurance provides powerful emotional support. The playful arm touch. You've just made a joke or said something playful that makes her laugh. As she's laughing, you give her arm a quick, light touch, almost like a friendly tap, while grinning. Or you're playfully teasing her about something harmless, and you touch her arm briefly while delivering the playful comment. This creates a fun, flirtatious energy without any heavy intensity. The progression: building physical comfort over time. It's important to understand that these touches often work best as a natural progression rather than isolated incidents. When you first meet someone or are in the early stages of getting to know her, start with the least intimate touches and gradually progress to more intimate forms of contact as comfort and connection build. Early stages might involve the playful arm touch or the accidental finger brush, forms of contact that are light, brief, and socially acceptable even with relative strangers in appropriate contexts. As you spend more time together and rapport develops, you might introduce the protective lower back touch or the reassuring shoulder touch, forms of contact that communicate care and support but still maintain appropriate boundaries. In moments of deeper connection and intimacy, perhaps during more vulnerable conversations or romantic settings, the face touch and hair touch become appropriate and powerful. This progression respects her comfort levels while steadily building physical familiarity and attraction. Forcing intimacy too quickly creates discomfort and resistance. Moving too slowly might cause her to lose interest or see you as only a friend. Finding the right pace requires attention and emotional intelligence. Final thoughts and taking action. If this content has provided value to you and given you new understanding about how physical touch creates attraction, I want you to do something for me right now. Hit that like button. It genuinely makes a tremendous difference in helping this channel grow and ensuring this information reaches more men who need to hear it. And drop a comment below telling me which of these 6 touches you're most excited to start implementing in your own life, or which one you think will be most challenging for you to get right. I read every comment, and I'm genuinely interested in your experiences and questions. Now, if you want to go significantly deeper than what we've covered in this video, if you want to master the advanced emotional triggers and psychological principles that create genuine, lasting attraction in women, I've created something special for you. It's my ebook called Attraction Secrets, and it contains advanced techniques and insights that almost no men understand. Everything is explained through practical psychology and real-world examples that you can implement immediately. You'll find the link to Attraction Secrets in the description below this video. This ebook takes everything we've discussed today and expands it into a comprehensive system for understanding female attraction at the deepest levels. But here's what I need you to understand above all else. Use these touches with genuine intention, authentic respect for her as a person, and real confidence in yourself. When you approach physical touch from this foundation, when it comes from a place of wanting to create genuine connection rather than manipulation, you'll be amazed at how a woman can develop deep feelings for you, often without even fully understanding why she feels so drawn to you. These touches work because they communicate on levels deeper than words. They speak to ancient parts of the human brain that evolved long before language existed. When you master this nonverbal communication, when you become fluent in the silent language of touch, presence, and energy, you develop a form of attraction power that most men never even know exists. So take what you've learned today and put it into practice. Start small. Be observant. Pay attention to responses and adjust accordingly. And remember, the goal isn't to become some kind of manipulation artist. The goal is to become a man who understands how to create genuine connection, who knows how to make women feel safe and attracted through authentic presence and appropriate physical contact. That's the kind of man women genuinely fall for, not because of tricks or tactics, but because you've learned to communicate effectively on all levels: verbal, emotional, and physical. Master these 6 touches, and you master a crucial component of creating real, authentic attraction. Now get out there and put this knowledge into action, and I'll see you in the next video.